Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day-to-day lives. Let's start with the video. My fiance's jealous best friend tried to ruin our relationship. I'm so glad I trusted my instincts and relationships before believing her lies. I got engaged to my fiance after 6 years of dating. We're the kind of people who never really wanted to get married in the first place, so we were happy with just being together. We moved in together after a year of dating and have been living together ever since. 2 years ago, my fiancée became pregnant unexpectedly. We weren't planning to have kids anytime soon, but both of us ended up being happy about it and we were excited to start a family together. The baby was born and it really changed things between us. We started talking about marriage and all that. Neither of us wanted a huge wedding, but I proposed to her in our living room and we started to talk about going to the courthouse for a small ceremony, followed by a dinner with our parents, siblings, and best friends. Our baby boy is the most wonderful child, and we were just a really happy family together. Oh, I guess I should say that our baby has Down syndrome. This doesn't change anything, but it's important to the story, so I'm just mentioning it. We set a date for the wedding on a long weekend so everyone could make it. But just 5 days before the wedding, I got a text from my fiance's best friend, Chrissy, saying that there was something important she needed to tell me. She told me not to say anything to my fiance. This was a little odd because in the time that I've known the girl, we've hardly met, just the two of us without my fiance present. I thought she must be planning some sort of surprise for my fiance and didn't think much about it. I told her we can meet during my lunch break at work, and she agreed to come to this cafe near my work. Again, before meeting her, I didn't think much of it. Now I wish someone had warned me. I walked into the cafe and saw her waiting for me. I made my way to her and sat down. I could see from the beginning that she looked pretty uncomfortable. I asked her if everything was fine, and she said that she has to tell me something difficult. I started getting concerned at that point. She told me to brace for it and said something so shocking that I thought it was some awful joke. She told me that my baby boy wasn't biologically mine. She went on to say that he was conceived on her birthday when she went out with my fiancé, and they both got very drunk and my fiancé hooked up with some guy they met at the bar. I didn't know how to process this. At first, I completely refused to entertain such thoughts. I know my fiancé, she's the love of my life, and she would never do something like this. I told this to Chrissy, and she told me that she's sorry to say this, but it's the truth, and she's sure of it. She told me that my fiancé was certain and felt so guilty that she wanted to get married and raise the child with me. Chrissy also said that's the only reason she started talking about marriage out of nowhere, even though she has never been the type of person who ever wanted to get married. This is the point where I started getting paranoid. I still couldn't believe that my fiancé would do something like this, but she's indeed the one who first started talking about marriage after our baby was born. Also, Chrissy and her do go out sometimes and get a little too drunk. The birthday night she was talking about was one such day when my fiancé didn't come back home at the end of the night. I was sure that she had just stayed the night at Chrissy's place, but everything I had just heard made me paranoid. Chrissy told me that my fiancé had been in contact with the guy after she had found out about the pregnancy and that the baby would be born with Down syndrome. He didn't want to be a part of the baby's life, which made her scared and made her start thinking about marriage because it would be incredibly difficult to raise a baby with special needs as a single mom. She said that my fiancé was starting to feel bored of me and had complained about it before as well. All the time I've been with my fiancé, I've never felt suspicious of her at all. I had a beautiful family. We were about to get married. Everything was perfect before that conversation. I told Chrissy that I needed to get out and clear my head and walked out. I'm not going to get into details about my mental state at the time, but I spiraled pretty badly. I didn't know what to do. The wedding was in just a few days. I didn't want to talk to anyone about this, so I decided to just search for my questions on Google. The first thing I saw on sites like Reddit and Quora was paternity testing. At that time, that seemed like my best option. But again, I was dreading the conversation I'd have to have with my future wife regarding this. I know I should have talked with her, but I decided to conduct the paternity test in secret. What followed was 2 days of pure agony. But guess what? The paternity test came out positive. My baby boy was mine. The relief I felt was unreal. But then, what the hell was Chrissy talking about? I decided I had enough of living in paranoia and made up my mind to talk to my fiancé about it. I knew it would not end well, but at that point, I felt like my options were pretty limited. I came back from work early that day, and after putting the baby down for the night, I told my fiancé that I had to tell her something. I started from the day when Chrissy texted me and said everything, including the paternity test. It was pretty bad. As expected, a lot of tears were shed. I felt like the biggest jerk in the world, but had to do what I did. Whatever Chrissy had said was obviously a lie, though, so we had to find out why. We decided that my fiancé would text her saying, I want to call off the wedding and ask her to come over, and when she did, we would confront her together. After sending the text, we waited for Chrissy. She came pretty soon, looking extremely agitated. She sat down in the living room and was just about to say something when I walked in. She froze the moment she saw me. I asked her why she tried to destroy our beautiful family. My fiancé was crying at that point, saying that she couldn't have imagined in her worst nightmare that her own best friend would try to do something like this. There was no point in denying it, so she broke down and explained everything. She told us that she was jealous of our family because nothing like that ever happened to her, and no one ever wanted to be serious with her. She planned to feed both of us lies and make us call the wedding off. I'm saying everything like she just told us everything. But trust me when I said it was incredibly difficult. She came over at around 9, and by the time she left, it was after midnight. My fiancé and I are just processing everything. Chrissy begged her to forgive her, but obviously that's not happening. Then she got bitter and said that if our relationship was so great, then I wouldn't have gotten the paternity test in the first place. This hurt my fiancé, and she started crying. I understand her perspective. We're confused about what to do. We don't want to call off the wedding, but things are not really great between us. I thought maybe posting on Reddit and hearing your opinions would help. AITA for getting the paternity test? Chrissy and my fiancé met after she had started dating me, so she met us when we were already in a good place in our relationship. We never knew that she was jealous of us. I've talked to my fiancé, and apparently she had mentioned a few times how nice it is to see our family, and that she wished to have something like that for her own. But my fiancé didn't think anything of it. We have cut all contact with her. I mean, it has just been a day, but that's how we want to proceed. The worst part, that woman is the godmother of our child. It's just so sad. The wedding is just a day away, and we still don't know what to do. Both of us still love each other, and we've just decided that we'll wake up in the morning and then decide what to do and tell our friends and family. If we do go forward with the wedding, we'll have to explain Chrissy's absence as well, which is just going to be unpleasant. We decided to go forward with the wedding. I'm a married man now, Reddit. I mean, it was hardly a wedding in the first place. We just signed the papers and it was done. That morning, we woke up, looked at each other, and just knew that we want to spend our lives together. I apologized to my wife. Feels so great to say wife. Again for the paternity test and doubting her even for a second. Told her I love her, and she said that even though she's hurt, she still loves me and believes that we can move past this. We decided to cancel the small dinner party, though, because we just didn't have it in us to explain to everyone about Christy. We called our parents and friends and told them we'll make up for it real soon, and everyone was understanding. The wedding was a week ago, and we've planned to have a nice dinner tomorrow evening with our loved ones. We've been working on communicating better and building trust, and might even see a couples therapist. Our son just makes everything easier. One look at his face and I have the courage to do anything for keeping this family together. Christy showed up at the dinner party. I think I told you guys about the dinner party in my last update. Anyway, we decided to go to a small Italian restaurant we've loved for years. We reached early thanks to our amazing babysitter, and we were just waiting for everyone to come when suddenly Christy walked in. First, when I saw her, I was hoping this was just an unfortunate coincidence, but she started looking around and making her way towards us. She reached our table and before we could say anything, told us that she had found out about the party from a mutual friend who doesn't know what was going on. She apologized again and begged us to forgive her, but I told her if she doesn't leave, I would create a scene with the restaurant management. She left the restaurant crying. Fortunately, that was before any of our guests had arrived. After everyone had finished eating, we told them about what happened with Christy. I hope she doesn't bother me or my wife again in future. YTA, so you've been with this woman for 6 years and still believes some lies someone said and did the whole paternity test behind her back? I can't believe she married you. You're incredibly lucky and I hope you cherish her forever. NTA, that was your fiancé's best friend. I can understand why the circumstances might have made you paranoid. It was not a smart decision not to have a conversation with your wife, but again, you are under a lot of stress. I'm glad you and the wife have decided to work through this. Congratulations on the wedding and best regards to your lovely family. I, 29 male, found out that I have a 10-year-old daughter. It's a long story of how I found out, but just to be clear, yes, sure, she is mine. I've been trying to get to know her, and she stays with me a lot. I've decided this is the right time to introduce her to my family. I have a big family with so many siblings and nibblings. They know about my daughter, and some of them have met her, but some of my siblings that I'm not very close to or who live in another city haven't met her yet. My siblings and I stay the entire holiday in our parents' home, and this year I'm taking my daughter with me. Every Christmas, my siblings make a list of gifts. This list is for all the kids in the family, and it's designed so that every kid will have the same gifts. And no one will get upset that someone else is getting a better gift. It's also designed so that all my siblings, even the ones who don't have good jobs, can afford it. My sister sent me this year's list and told me this is what I should get for my child this year. I looked at the list and it was mostly clothing and like one toy of our choice. I told her, I'm sorry, but this is my daughter's first Christmas with me, and I'm not going to get such shitty gifts for her. I have my own list. She argued that every kid in the family is getting these gifts, and getting anything but these will make other kids upset. And I told her, I don't care. The other issue is that my siblings usually go there by train. I used to go with them, but it's a very long way and tiring. So I told her that this year I'll get plane tickets for me and kiddo, which made her madder, and she called me an a-hole. She has told all my siblings, and most of them are calling me an a-hole for not thinking about how their children will feel if I do this. Only two of my siblings are on my side, and the rest think I'm an a-hole. After reading the comments and thinking about it more, I decided not to go there for Christmas. I want to give her the best Christmas possible, and I can't do that if I'm focused on how everyone else is going to feel about it. We'll go there for a day or two so that she can meet the family, though. She actually looked relieved when I told her, LOL. I guess she was nervous about spending so much time with people who are basically strangers to her. I'll talk to her mom and see if we can give her a Christmas with both her parents instead. NTA, but you and your daughter have a separate Christmas gathering at your home, and explain the other situation is a family gathering with rules so no children will get upset. She is 10 and should be old enough to understand. The plane will give you more time alone with her, so your travel plans should not be an issue. YTA if you stay the course. You aren't doing your daughter any favors with your extended family and especially her new cousins by giving her preferential treatment. They are going to resent her if she suddenly becomes the long-lost golden child who gets her own special and better gifts. Don't put her in this position. It isn't fair. Instead, have your own private Christmas celebration, just the two of you, either before or after the big family get-together. Don't make it just about gifts, though. I don't remember many of the specific gifts I've gotten over the years, but I remember all of my family's Christmas Eve traditions, singing Christmas carols, reading our old pop-up book of the night before Christmas, preparing a plate of cookies and carrots for Santa and his reindeer. Make memories together that can become traditions over time, and respect your family's long-standing traditions in the process. My older brother is somewhat useless, but my parents love him. He mooches off everyone. My dad retired a few years ago and can no longer afford to support my brother and his stupidity. So over the last 5 years, I have lent my brother about $10,000, and he has paid back roughly $600. Well, he is getting married and he needs money for a honeymoon, like $2,000, which I can afford, but I don't really feel like lending him money. I know I won't get back. I said no. He kept calling me and texting me saying that his fiancée deserves a good honeymoon and that I should help him out. I point out that my parents paid for his degree and I had to go into debt to get mine because they had nothing left for me after he took 6 years to graduate, and that he still owes me $9,400. Finally, he gets my parents to call me and ask for the money. LOL. I'm already LC with them. They owe me money too. They start trying to guilt me, that I'm his little sister and I should love him enough to help, blah, blah, blah. After about a week of this crap, I lost it. I told them, fine, I will meet him at their house and help him out financially for the last time. I showed up and we sat down at the kitchen table. I pulled out all the contracts that I made him sign when I lent him money. I also pulled out a printed copy of the check he paid me the $600 with. I said he had a choice. I could lend him the $2,000, but they had to pay me back when he owed me first, or I could tear up all of his debt to me. Huge fight. I'm an a-hole for being so mercenary. How dare I treat family in such a transactional manner? I am a terrible person for letting him think I was going to help. Did I want to make them homeless by asking them for the $30,000 that they owed me too? Blah, blah, blah. I said to call me when they decide. Now I'm getting crap from my family because they are telling everyone that I won't help out the family. I'm a terrible daughter and sister. So I started asking everyone how much they were going to pay for his honeymoon. No, no, we don't mean that we should help. Just you. You're his sister. Okay. Which of you guys is paying off what he owes me already? Radio silence. But I found out from my cousin that they are all talking about me behind my back. LOL. I don't care. I feel kind of shitty for getting his hopes up, though. Am I the a-hole here? He didn't pick, so he still owes me money. I have signed loan agreements with all of them. So God forbid my parents die. I get paid before he gets anything from the estate. NTA, but your entire family certainly is. Do not lend any more money out. I could care less if your brother's fiancée deserves a nice honeymoon. That's his problem, and if she doesn't like it, well, that's too damn bad. You are surrounded by AH and leeches. Don't let them guilt you. Better yet, I would cut these people out of your life. They're just toxic. NTA, your mother and father were hoping to dump your brother off on you. Your brother is a useless bum enabled by his family. They want to get him married and make it even harder for you to say no. You are the only sane individual in your family. It's outrageous how they practice predatory manipulation on you and accuse you of being coldly transactional with them. Your brother's idiocy and the complete lack of improvidence he shares with your parents is not your problem. They're going to put you out in the street hoping you keep their standard of living up. I would give them all the finger and tell them it was nice knowing you. This is patriarchal entitlement and a sexist-based financial abuse scheme.